welcome back to another episode of the Women's Health Community Podcast. I'm here with another guest, Miss FMG Pro, Kimmy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello.
Don't know if you've listened to the podcast before, but we start the podcast with 4 questions, and then the 4th question is different to every single guest.
Okay,
So,
love
first
that.
question.
Very Jay Shetty vibe.
Is it?
Yeah, because he does like that rapid fire at the end.
Oh, well, just call me Jay Shetty then, because that's exactly what we're doing. So, what did you want to be when you were growing up?
I distinctly remember wanting to be a pharmacist just because I thought that they helped people, and
Right.
they do.
But they're not the ones making people better.
Yeah, like in a sense, I'm still doing that by helping and coaching women everywhere. But like, I don't know. I walked into a chemist one day and I was like, "You guys look sick in your white robes, like out the back there."
Yeah.
like a little bit higher than everybody else.
Yeah, on the little step.
Yeah.
Okay, what is one non-negotiable in your day every single day?
I have to make my bed, and my morning routine is basically I wake up, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I do my bed, put away the clothes. Like, I can't focus unless my space is reset and decluttered.
You would hate my house.
Probably, if you're saying that.
What is your death row meal?
I'm Vietnamese, so I love all Vietnamese food, but specifically, and I've had this conversation many times, so I know exactly what my death row meal will be. It's pho. So beef pho, I love beef pho. I could eat that every day, all day, every day.
Do you have like one specific restaurant, or is it like a family made?
Yeah, the restaurant is Restaurant Mum.
Mum's house.
Restaurant Mum, she makes it the best.
Yeah, okay. I'm like, that's Vietnamese food is probably one of my favorite cuisines, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I wish I had someone that could make it, because I'm like, you never know which restaurant to go to.
Do you live around this area?
Nope.
Yes, the Vits are all around here.
Not me. And then 4th question that is different for every single guest. Would you rather go through labor again or go through your hardest depletion week in prep again?
My hardest depletion week, because to be honest, prep is quite cruisy for me. I don't feel like I necessarily struggle because that's something I choose to do. Whereas like labor, I was like, it either gets cut out of you or it goes out the other way, and there's no other option. The stork does not come and drop your baby off.
It's either scary or more scary, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But at least at the end of labor, you get a sweet little baby.
Yeah, of course.
Prep, you get on stage in a bikini and then...
You may or may not win.
Yeah,
And you may or may not get trauma from it.
Yeah, it's a gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And you will be out of pocket.
we'll
many
just talk about it.
$1,000.
10 grand.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, you obviously compete within FMG. You are a pro athlete. You recently turned pro.
It was November 2023. So the whole last year I was pregnant. And so, yeah, it's almost a year and a half later.
Wow. So how many shows have you done in total?
I've done 3. So the first 2 that I did, I placed 4th in both.
Yeah.
And then the third one that I did in November 2023, I won.
Yes, I think I was at that show.
Were you? Did you see my black and green bikini?
Yes.
Yeah, like the whole...
It was Kim Possible vibes.
It was definitely Shigo inspired.
Yeah, so it was definitely, I was there, and I love going to the FMG shows. I think I go to most of them, and I just think I'm in such awe of everyone and their posing, but your posing that day was like another level. If you've not gone and seen, you did a whole like bikini reveal video.
Yeah,
I remember
like
this.
the smoke.
And you had the hectic nails and everything. Like, I was so invested. So
would you ever do it, FMG, from summer shredding?
I always say, like, so when I first ever started like getting interested in bodybuilding, the people who inspired me the most was Rachel Dillon and Lauren Simpson. Like, I used to... Everyone. So like my first ever coach used to have my name on my program as Brunette Lauren Simpson. Like, that was my name. It was never Georgia. It was Brunette Lauren Simpson. So I'm like, there's always that interest, and it's like, it's a never say never, but I've also very content with this being my last season competing, whether that's I do another show or what, who knows. But I mean, you're a mum. Do you think the competing comeback will happen? A pro debut?
Never say never.
Yep.
I do miss prep just because I love seeing what I can do with my body and like the changes I've made with my body, because to be honest, I was really lucky during pregnancy. I was training all the way up until the very end, until I was trying to induce labor. So I thought to myself, like, Kimmy, you should chill, and training to the intensity that I was, which wasn't crazy because obviously you have to take it easy. It still raises your adrenaline and cortisol, and you need to induce labor by
relaxing,
chilling out, serotonin.
Not doing like an 80-kilo squat.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, you should do the mile circuit. And I'm like, my training session is like the mile circuit on steroids, because the mile circuit is like, a bit of lateral like lunges, some curb walking, and I was doing like step downs, step ups.
Yeah, okay.
So my curb walking was like
proper
like a proper.
So it's like, if that's not inducing labor, hunt, like what's your mile method going to do?
Yeah, exactly. Like my mile circuit's not going to do anything. So yeah, I mean, through that whole experience, I felt like my body composition, it still was that of like I could have built muscle. So I'm just interested to see like what my body would be capable of if I do step on stage again.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm a little bit more higher body fat, which is totally normal.
Yep.
Like, so okay. Nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, never say never. I just don't know when it will be. I would love for my son to be more conscious and like aware of what's happening.
Something to remember, yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot of women within the FMG who compete who have kids, like someone that always comes to mind for me is M. Kingbody. She went to Worlds and did.
I love it, yeah.
She had her daughter there, but now her daughter's older and she competes quite frequently. And I'm like, to me, like as a young girl, I mean, you have a son, not a daughter, but like I feel like just any child seeing their parent like go through the commitment and like the sacrifices and things like that could be really motivating for them. And I feel like if your son sees you do that, maybe you may be producing the next Arnold.
I always said like I'm birthing the next Mr. Olympia in me. But that's true. Like honestly, kids, they literally imitate everything that their parents do, down to the, you know, being glued to their phones because their parents are glued to their phones. So a hack is like you put a book and then your phone.
Oh, is that your little mum hack?
I saw it somewhere and I'm like, maybe that'll help. But
yeah,
like leading from the front is something that I've always been big on, not only as a mother for my son, but like coaching my athletes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been coaching for 3 years now and, you know, I have to live and breathe what I tell my athletes to do. And even though I'm not perfect, I guess that's part of it, right? Like it's not being perfect. You can miss, you know, eating your protein for one day or a training session here and there because you just weren't feeling it and you decided to prioritize rest and recovery instead. So yeah, I'm just a big believer in just leading from the front.
Yeah, and like leading with realistic expectations. I feel like there's some coaches out there who online will portray this whole like perfect image, but behind the scenes they're acting completely different. They're a completely different human being. And I think like I've followed you for some time and I think like it's really nice to see that through your pregnancies you were training just in the same location, in the same outfits, in the same vibe during your prep. Obviously not in prep.
A human.
And you were literally growing a human. I always find it so weird, such a segue. When my sister was pregnant, we used to be like, you're growing like hair and fingernails and like a nose, like so crazy to me. But like
organs,
like we could get into a whole conversation on like the female body and how that all happens because that would blow my mind. But like I think as well, like you said, leading from the front is really an invaluable thing that a coach can have if they are actually congruent with what they're saying they're doing.
Yeah. Do you feel like now meeting me for the first time, do you feel like I am who you thought I would be online? Because I'm always so interested to see if people think that, not even just like how you act and how you portray yourself online, but like just how you look.
Yeah.
Because you're exactly who I thought you were as well.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Am I like taller or shorter than you thought?
No, I knew you were taller than me. So I was like, you are.
I thought you would have been taller.
Thank
but
you.
But maybe because I see you. So I have seen you obviously at FMG shows and the girls always mostly wear heels.
Yeah.
So maybe I just forget that whole part of like the world that heels exist because I don't ever wear heels like at a show. I'm always like the one in like comfy clothes.
Yeah.
So yeah, no,
Did
you look
forget
exactly
that I
the
was
same.
Asian as well.
Everyone's
I'm
personal.
actually pretty tall for an Asian, I've heard. So
yeah, I wouldn't say you're short. I feel like we're similar height.
Yeah. And like, I guess online, since I have quite long legs relative to my torso, I do look taller.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
thank you.
Keep believing that.
She's a tall gal, everyone. No, yeah, I definitely think you like look the same, sound the same. Like I can totally get what you're saying though. Like every story for some coaches or for some people in general is filtered or I've even seen people voice alter. And I'm like, that's effort. Yeah. Like I would post absolutely nothing if everyone had to be voice altered.
Yeah.
Imagine hosting a podcast and having to do that.
If you're not doing like what's it called? The trickster voice thing from TikTok.
Yeah.
To make you sound funny. And it's like actually altering your voice to sound like more feminine or something like that. I don't know what people are doing, but like, I don't know. Like one day someone's going to meet you in real life and think like.
I think it's the best compliment though receiving to be like, oh, you're exactly the same as you were in real life.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
as you are online.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you.
And like touching on like the filters thing like that, nothing's wrong with that. I think if you feel confident doing that, if it helps you show up for your business and just like show up in general, then for sure. But I came a point and a fork in the road where I was like, do I want to keep using these filters that like give me a tiny nose and like bigger lips and like just make my face look really alienated? And
because some are really subtle.
Yeah, but then some are not, and I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and like you said though, it's, my sister and I actually had this conversation the day. Could you imagine meeting someone like an injectables person or a coach or I don't know, an athlete of any, and you meet them and you physically do not recognize them because who they are online is completely different to like who they are in person. Like, to me, that's my worst nightmare.
That's my worst nightmare.
I put the Paris filter to get rid of like a bit of like texture on my skin, and that's as far as I go. And I sometimes feel really bad for doing that. But I'm like, I couldn't manipulate my face. I don't think I could.
I just thought to myself, like, what would my like younger version of myself want? And also like my kids, my future kids at that point, because I wasn't pregnant or had kids. But yeah, I mean, that I just wanted to show up authentically me and let that be okay. And like, there are still some days that I think that, I'm very self-critical, but I still try to show up. And that's, it's not always just about being a highlight reel and faking this persona online. It's about being real, raw and genuine. And I really hope, like my athlete check-ins, you should see me in Loom. I'm like 3-day-old hair. Sometimes I'm in like still active wear. And
it's not this like perfect polished version. It's just a real version.
To be. Well, because they're being vulnerable with me, like completely vulnerable with all of their check-in photos, with their measurements, their weights, and everything that they detail in like their biofeedback form. They're telling me everything. The least I can do is like be a real human on the other side of this Loom.
Yeah, literally. I just had a thought and I completely forgot it. So I'm just going to...
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, okay. Thoughts back. So I just want to, even along those lines of being a real person, I'm really big on as well being very open communication with my clients in the terms of like, if like, yes, Monday, Tuesday of this week, it's Wednesday as we're recording, I was unavailable 9 till 4. And I literally was just so open with them and like, look, I'm in a conference. I'm not going to be able to communicate with you. Wednesday, I'm all yours. Yep. Or like, even if I'm going through something or my energy is really low or there's an emergency that's happened, my clients know everything about me. If it's not even online, like if I don't post something online, they know where I am, what I'm doing, how I'm feeling. And I think as well as a coach, I mean, Instagram doesn't need to know, but you, like you mentioned, they're so vulnerable with you when they're having a bad day, when they have a quote unquote slip up in their like protocols or whatever. I love to be that for them as well, to make them feel comfortable to be able to have that conversation with me. And I think if I'm consistently portraying this idea of perfection and I'm a perfect athlete and I'm a perfect coach and I'm a perfect wife and all of these things, I'm like, who's going to want to work with me? I feel like I'd be it'd be such an intimidating person to have a conversation with. Whereas like if you're just a normal 28-year-old, like YOLO.
Being relatable.
Live, laugh, love. Let's be normal.
Try being pregnant and being like, hey guys, I might be giving birth this week, might be next week. It might be the end of January, might be the first 3 weeks of February. Like, I'll just let you know.
We don't know.
I will let you know. And if you don't see me posting online, it's because I'm in labor.
Do you reckon they worked it out before you ever posted about it?
There were so many people that were messaging me being like, hey, you haven't posted in like 24 hours and like you have no stories up. Have you given birth? And I'm like,
I'm actually just trying to induce it. Like, leave me be.
I'm just actually like just trying to be present right now.
So going into that a little bit, I'm very fascinated with, as an athlete, you fell pregnant quite soon after competing?
November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Like, 6 months.
So not very soon, but soon. And I want to go into like the whole... not psychology, because like I'm not a psychologist and that's going to be a whole other conversation, but like the thought process behind like your identity as an athlete and how you viewed your body going from like obviously peak pro worthy conditioning to 30. How long is pregnancy?
40, but I think I was 39 and a little bit.
So like 39 weeks ready to pop out a baby. Was there like was it a really hard process for you to go through, or was it something that you just fully embraced, or what was that like for you going from that peak level? Congratulations, you're a pro, to congratulations, you're now a mum.
I battle myself, like my internal dialogue, I battle myself constantly because I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, because I know that every mum has a different experience, even like within different pregnancies and different children, they'll have different experiences because you're never the same person. You're always evolving and you're always going through different challenges through life. But if I'm being honest, after turning pro, my priority was to get back to health. And it wasn't to fall pregnant, right? So I just wanted to immerse myself into getting back from that really unrealistic, unsustainable peak stage condition and just focus on health and reduce stress, because I had quite a stressful prep leading up to it and had also launched my business. So my focus was purely on just myself and my business, and the rest was just like whatever happens, happened. And that's not to say that the immediate post-comp period wasn't challenging, because I also lost my grandma and like just going through like the holidays and, you know, all of the food that comes with that. Just life. And like, seeing your body change. I don't put my self-worth or value on my physique. I never have and I never will, because again, our body is allowed to change. And I do try to encourage not only like my athletes, but like friends and family who are saying, you know, how do you do it? How did you bounce back? It's like, it's not about going backwards. It's about continuing to evolve and move forward and continue to show up for yourself, whatever version that is, right? So in terms of your question of like how I adapted to seeing my body change, I always knew that I wanted to be a mum. As you can see, like I have 2 beautiful fur babies that I considered like children, because they definitely rely on you like kids. Yeah. Just that you can leave them at home and not be, you know, shunned for that.
So, I still feel shunned. Personal shunning.
Yeah, personal shunning. But I always knew that I wanted to be a mum, and I definitely feel like I have more of that maternal instinct. So when it came to falling pregnant, I was in that space of, I'm not going to be stage lean forever, and I don't necessarily feel my best when I have abs and all of these lines and separation and things like that. So I was actually really excited. I came at it with a positive mindset and just excitement of what my body could be capable of. So yeah, seeing my belly grow and seeing that I was still able to train, my appetite was definitely up, and that's how I knew I was pregnant, because I was eating like the whole house down. I was like, this is just not normal for me. So yeah, that was the most rewarding thing, is like being able to see your body grow and change. And as you said, like I grew hair today, I grew some organs, I grew a nose, like it was like that was all happening within me. And I still look at my son to this day and I'm like, how did you come out of me? Like I know I felt you water slide out of me, but like how did I make you? And honestly, I knew towards the end of my pregnancy that I was going to miss my bump, because I just loved my bump so much. Like it's such a life-changing experience that no one until you actually go through it will understand. Because I have friends that have kids and I never really could truly resonate with them until it happened for myself. So it's the most beautiful experience, and you know, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. You're going to have fatigue and symptoms, this, that, and the other. But I am a big believer that your mindset and also like your physical preparation of carrying a child, because like obviously this anterior load just keeps going and going and going.
You can't go anymore, keeps going.
It keeps going and you pop at the very end, but I felt like I popped pretty quickly. Like all of that stuff leads you down the path of your pregnancy journey, and whether that be a positive one or, you know, a little bit skewed up and down, I guess you decide that in addition to like whatever your body throws at you, your hormones and stuff as well. So there's part that you can control and a part that you can't control. But I feel like a lot of women and mum that are falling pregnant feel like it's completely out of their control, which I don't believe. Yeah.
I think that's a really nice way of putting it, that yes, you can't control all the like almost health things that come. Like you can't control the morning sickness, you can't control the fatigue, you can't control potentially any health concerns that come up, like things like this, but you can control how you actually approach it. It's like a mindset kind of thing, which is a really interesting perspective. Maybe that is the athlete mindset of like going into something where it's like in a prep, you can't control that you're going to feel tired, but you can control your mindset towards how you react to that. Do you have that poor me, oh my God, this is so hard mindset, or this is the plan working, this is the pregnancy working, this is how it's supposed to feel? And I think that's almost like a really liberating way to think about it. Like I'm very open about wanting to be a mum online, and I'm very like, I feel the same way, very maternal. My dog is my baby. Like if I could carry her like a child, I would. She's just too heavy and would actually hate it. But like I totally can see like how that would be a really positive mindset to approach and be like we spoke about, you're growing a human.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
Yeah. And throughout my pregnancy, I drew so many parallels to prep as well, like the high hunger and like all of that stuff. But it really, like when you have those moments where it's out of your control, like the fatigue, the morning sickness and whatnot, if you can still show up for yourself, then relying on the habits that you've built before falling pregnant becomes like your autopilot.
Yeah. Okay.
And so like I still programmed myself because I coached myself and I still had a program training 4 days every week. I still had a step target and a dog to walk, and nutrition wise, like that becomes really important when you become a mother. Like obviously you're trying to nourish your body. You're not trying to starve it and like lose weight and lean out, but you are nourishing your body so that you can deliver a healthy baby and grow a healthy baby and hit all the milestones that you need to hit. So all of that stuff that I put in place for my prep and just through life, living a healthy lifestyle, definitely was paid off when you become pregnant.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then do you feel like once you had your son that like those habits still kicked in and still like led you forward? Because I'm starting to coach a lot more mums, which I find really amazing that they put their trust in me, especially as a woman who isn't a mum herself. And I'm like, a conversation I have quite frequently with them is that they struggle to make time for themselves. They struggle to put themselves as a priority. And a conversation I always come back to is, if you're not fueling yourself, if you're not doing an hour of something a day for yourself, yes, that may mean that your husband needs to look after their child, like your child. Like if you're not putting a little bit of effort into yourself, how can you show up for someone else? Was that something that you found that your habits really pulled you into? Like you said, your step target, your training, obviously within reason. Was that something that you found an easy transition?
I'm very lucky. I have a village. My parents are amazing. My partner is amazing. And also I have an amazing son. Like he's a really good baby and I'm very lucky for that. But of course there are days where he doesn't go down for his naps. He's a little bit more clingy, like he's going through a regression right now. So he's a little bit more fussy, and I am breastfeeding. So like 2 hours like clockwork, this boy is eating. And he's
a growing boy.
He's a unit now. He's a unit now. I think he's almost 7 kilos, which is crazy.
How old is he now?
He's 16 weeks today, which is technically 4 months, but the 4 months is on the 5th of every month. So he'll be 4 months officially on the 5th of June. So yes, I know that I'm very lucky to have a village, but some days I don't. And some days my parents go out, my partner's at work, and it's just me and Iva. So I just have to make it work. And if you come at it from a mindset of, okay, if I can't train right now because I've got him strapped to me and that's the only way he's going to sleep, can I go for a walk instead? And like that stuff really gets me over the line. And I have to be so extra compassionate to myself on the days that are more challenging, or he is more needy, or he has like 10 poo explosions and has gone through all of these things. Like it happens and you have to allow that grace, because otherwise you're just going to stress yourself out. Your milk supply will be impacted. You'll just feel overall more fatigued and tired and be in that victim mindset. Whereas like you can choose to look at it from a different perspective and laugh at things like poo explosions when you are about to leave the house. Like you just have to make it work.
Yeah. And I think like you mentioned, you said that you speak to yourself with grace. And it's definitely something I like wish a lot of other women did, whether they're
100%.
mums, whether they're pregnant, whether they're athletes, whether they're just a woman trying to achieve a health and fitness goal or any goal.
Yeah.
Speaking to yourself, and it's something my mum always used to say, speak to others the way you want to be spoken to. That was a quote that we were really drilled into as kids, but it's also speak to yourself the way that you want to be spoken to.
Yeah.
If you never would call your friend and be like, oh my God, she's overweight, she's looking big, why would you speak that way about yourself?
Yeah.
Your subconscious mind will follow suit to what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think like you were mentioning, on days when he won't come out of his carrier, or he wants to be with you all day, or he won't sleep, or he's grumpy, or he's a little bit sick. It's like, that's life. That's the point of everything that we do. The point isn't being in stage condition, being with abs and lean and separation, all this stuff. The point is to be able to function, to live a life.
Yeah.
And I think so many women get really caught up in this, I need to look this way. I need to bounce back post a baby. I need to be doing all of these things. I need to be living the life that I used to live. And they're not just slowing down. And I think like the way you're putting it out there is just like chill.
Legit chill. Chill out. Chill. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
And it's not that deep, but like I honestly feel like people go from one extreme to the other because they can't regulate and have those habits in place or pivot. Like pivoting and being able to like shift the goalpost for that day, go on a bit of a tangent, but then realign like is so important, not only for like your life, but everything you do, like personally, professionally. Like you have to be able to pivot. And like this is something that my parents have always drilled into me is like there's no problem that we cannot solve. Like it's really important to find a different way or have like a different view of it, or just accept the fact that it's going to be a shit day. Like,
and just know that it will end.
It will end. Like, yeah, I always tell my clients, like, you're going to have these moments where you feel really overwhelmed or feel more anxious or feel like you just can't pour into your own cup, but like clouds passing in the sky, it's all transient. But just don't let yourself get derailed, because I feel like the extreme that people go through is, and I used to be like this, if I didn't tick off that training session, if I didn't see that green check, I would be like, I've lost all the glutes that I've ever tried to build ever.
Yeah.
But like, that's the thing, like post-comp, being pregnant, I realized like it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be days where I'll have to shift around my training to another day. Maybe I don't get all 4 sessions in and it's just 3 or it's 2, and like at least getting my steps in, or at least I'm resting and recovering. Like being able to be okay with that and own your choices and just continue to show up for yourself and not feel like, okay, since I didn't train yesterday, I'm just going to like screw the whole rest of the week. Like, you know, it like that is more important than actually getting the training session in. Yeah. Being kind to yourself. Like I tell my clients all the time, be kind to yourself, because I truly believe language matters. Like the way that you talk to others, even as coaches, like the language we use, but also, and most importantly, how you talk to yourself is like, it's your superpower, and you have to be really cautious with what you say, because your kids are listening too. So like whatever you say about yourself or to your partner or to the people around you, they're going to hear that, and that's going to be their subconscious. I heard that somewhere and I was like, oh my God. Yeah. I need to stop swearing.
Could you imagine his first word is like, fuck, mum?
Literally. Sometimes my partner says I'm like a little Asian bogan, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I live in Australia. Like
that's good. That'd be really cute though. I feel like kids swearing, a whole other topic though. Kids swearing is really cute. Yeah. Like I'm on that side of TikTok when the kids are like, oh fuck, it's raining again. And I'm like, it's so cute.
Yeah, literally.
But no, I think it's a really, like you mentioned, the way you think about yourself, your subconscious mind, and I drill this into every single client whenever they're in their check-ins. It's one, as a coach, heartbreaking to read.
Yeah.
But then it's like, if you continuously tell yourself the process is hard, you're failing because you couldn't go to the gym because your husband got called into work and your eldest child was working, so they couldn't look after your youngest child. Like if there's genuine reasons, and those life reasons are the reason that you cannot tick off 1 session in a week, but you still manage to do 3 other sessions and go for a run and hit your nutrition, if you're consistently like telling yourself in your mind that you failed that week, every week beyond that is going to be a failure, because that is what your subconscious mind is telling you is going to happen. You will do things without knowing to make sure that you consistently replicate that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just such an important thing at all phases, whether you're in prep, whether you are pregnant, whether you are a mum, whether you are anything, to just speak to yourself with grace.
Yeah.
And it's so underrated. And I'm just like, everyone follow suit, please. Like, come on.
It's like, it seems so simple.
It does.
Like it can be if you let it.
Like you said, it's not that deep.
It's not that deep. We will wake up tomorrow and like we can try again and keep trying. But like if you give up, that's when you've failed yourself. It's because you've given up on yourself. But
I actually put this on my story yesterday. I was like, to me, like the lessons in life, let me restart that again. The little slip ups that you have, if you can't complete a session, if you have a week where you completely fuck up all your nutrition, you have a binge, to me, that's not a failure. To me, as a coach, as an athlete who's competed, as a wife, as a sister, the only time I see someone that has failed is when they quit on themselves.
Yeah. I think we were actually super aligned in our stories yesterday, maybe because I did see that story, but I also posted up one of my athletes saying that she's going to go and have a hot chocolate and not feel guilty about it. Because we had this long conversation about her being upset that in social settings she wanted to eat Maccas with the girls. And I'm like, I love fries. I love fries. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like, are you going to eat fries tomorrow as well? Because that would be like amazing. Like, just make sure you get your protein and your micronutrients. And it's not the end of the world. It's literally not that deep.
And I think I'm massive on this. And I think a lot of people get really shook that I've now started posting like the macros and calories from like Macca's, KFC. I think I'm doing next week. Like, and I have clients that go out every weekend and party. And I've just posted today a client who's lost 10 kilos. I think she went out every single weekend and got pretty drunk. She had her sister's wedding coming up this week. And I'm like, she's still living her life. I'm no one to be like, you can't live your life, because trust me, if I'm not in prep, I'm living my life. We live 3 houses down from a Macca's. I smell it every day. I will be getting chips and nuggets. Like, and I think like we were saying, like having even the grace in yourself to be like, that's not failing. That's me living. Yeah. And that's fine.
That's me like building my nutritional awareness and my confidence around my decisions. Like, they're my decisions. And every day when I smell that KFC, because they'd be putting out a waft in the air. Oh, like it's intentionally.
Like it's like when you can smell like someone cooking a barbecue, or like someone's got a wood fire and you're like, the whole neighborhood smells of it. If you live anywhere, I have Macca's, maybe 4 houses, and then like a K up the road is KFC.
Oh my God. I've got the Bunnings every time like the Sunday, the weekend rolls around. I'm like, I'm getting a snag.
Honestly, we're suckers. We just need to walk around with pegs on our nose or something. But like it's allowed to be there. Yeah. It's a food for a reason. It's not an off-limit food. And I think as a coach, it's something that I'm so big on, is that there's no food off limit. Yeah. And I really encourage my clients to go out every week. Yeah. Have a meal out every week. Whether that's a part of your routine or not, go have a lunch out. If you're going to a shopping center, get something from the food court. Like, and I try and really emphasize, whether they're in a deficit, whether they're in a build, whatever it is, to really encourage that mindset. Because I think if you're trying to fall into that perfectionist element, it bleeds into everything. And I think that can be a really hard place to come out of. And I think especially as women, we're freaking hard on ourselves. Yeah. In not just how we look, but how we think, how we act, how we show up, how we perform, all of these things. And I'm like, why am I going to add to that? Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I'm really big on not trying to overly advocate that I'm a FMG bikini pro on my coaching page, because I'm a coach and sports nutritionist first. Yep. And I always tell my clients, I'm like, you are not prepping. We're living life.
Yep.
We're trying to drop a few Ks for your birthday next week. Not next week. Like in
next week, you're not eating
anything. In a few months'
anything.
time, like just chill out. It's fine. Like, it's okay that you had KFC. It's okay if you had a gongcha. Like, continue.
Gongcha is delicious.
I know. Can you tell what's on my mind right now?
Yeah, there's one at High Point if you want to go grab one. Passion fruit, green tea,
oh my
no
gosh,
sugar
the
syrup,
best.
mild.
The
so
best.
Good.
That's what I mean. Like, it's not life or death. Like, just because you had a meal out, like, it's not the end of the world. But what do you do consistently? Consistency is perfect imperfection. It's not throwing in the towel when you've just had a large chips. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. And I think as well, it's like I think we're very similar online. And I think that's why I love that you're so high in my algorithm, because it's like, it's just normal people. Yeah. And I think we're both like that. I see you eating out. I see you going out for meals with your girlfriends and all of these things. And I'm like, I love that. I love that. As you mentioned, you don't advocate that you're an athlete. Yeah. As much as probably I would if I was you, because I'd be bragging the fuck out of that. But like, you're a human first. And I think that that's a really nice thing to witness, that it's like, yes, you are this high level athlete. You can be this person, but you're also this person. Yeah. And you're a normal human being first. And I love seeing that. And I think I'm starting to really notice these small little habits that people are posting. I'm like, are you really doing that? Are you not doing that? And I'm like really gravitating towards people who are just of similar mindset to me. And I think that's why I got you on the podcast.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that. And I love seeing my clients go out and eat. I like their stories, and I don't want them to feel like, oh, I'm like spying on them and like judging them for what they're eating. Tell me off that. I'm like, was that meal amazing? Like, please tell me. I want to try it.
Do I need to go there?
Yeah, do I need to go there? Like, that's the whole point of it. It's not about being restrictive, because that's, as you said, it can lead you down the path of disordered eating. And I want my athletes to feel empowered, not restricted, and not feel like they're like like MyFitnessPal is spying on them, or their coach is spying on them. Like, it's about empowering them to make decisions that they are owning that both align with their health goals as well as like what they want to do in life.
So they're not going to live their whole life tracking on MyFitnessPal. So it's like, let's just educate them now to be able to live that life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I've just had a complete brain fart. So you mentioned that you've been coaching since 2023?
Something like that. Maybe earlier, maybe 2022.
Okay, so like the end of COVID.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like for you? What were you doing before for work and all of that sort of stuff?
I was working at NAB.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, completely career change. So I worked at NAB for 7 years doing project management and delivery. So we were, trying to simplify the bank and get rid of like paper and like cost saving initiatives, right? All this boring stuff. And I loved it. Like I loved the team that I worked in, and I'm really grateful for those experiences because every job, I want people to know this, but every job that you have, there is transferable skills. So like, don't ever feel like you wasted your years doing this or you wasted your time doing that. Everything that I've done helps me become a better coach to my athletes right now, right? So yeah, I decided to take the leap of faith and follow my passion in wanting to actually help people and not become a pharmacist, but become a coach and sports nutritionist. And I love it. Yeah, like it's so fulfilling seeing people fall pregnant, lose body fat, gain more muscle, like everything under the sun. I specifically train and coach general population clients. I'm not into the field of comp prep because it's not as glamorous as it is seen online. Like we both know that.
Yep.
There's a lot of sacrifices that need to be made and not that many people are willing or particularly in the right space to be able to do that, even though it looks like, oh, shiny bikini, hair and makeup, photo shoots this. The community, I love that aspect of it and I think that's a really good thing, but I just don't think that for the majority of people it's for them.
Yep.
Because it's an extreme sport.
Yeah, I have a lot of girls come to me and be working with me now for a few girls come to mind that I've been working with for about 3 or 4 years. And they're like, oh, I think I could do a prep and all of these things. I'm like, okay. First plan is we will be doing a photo shoot in August. You will be they're all starting a deficit next week actually. And if you can prove to me that you can treat this photo shoot prep with I want to say 80% of the skills that are required for a prep, we can talk about it. But I think a lot of people underestimate what it actually is that goes into a prep, the level of sacrifice, the impact it can have on a relationship, the amount of people I see getting separated and breaking up after a prep.
It's
and I'm
wild.
Like, and I'm like, if you can't self-regulate yourself enough in those situations to ensure that your relationship doesn't break down, I don't think it's something for you.
Yep.
And I think it's just like you said, it's so glamorized online. But I'm like, do people really understand the level of sacrifice that goes into it? I've now had 2 wedding anniversaries. Both of my wedding anniversaries have been in prep. And I'm like, that's a sacrifice that we make. Obviously, some people be like, that's fucking insane. But I'm like, as a couple, that's something we've agreed. There's definitely couples that would have that and be like, no, not happening. I'm like, interesting.
Yeah, like it all comes down to communication as well. And I mean, if they're your partner, they should be supporting whatever you want to do with your life. But equally, like, don't be a cunt.
Yep.
Don't be a cunt to them in like prep. Like you have you're depleted, you're tired, you're doing X amount of training, X amount of steps and cardio and whatever. But like you chose to do that. People don't have to suffer because of your decisions. And like it's just about being a kind human, like to yourself, to everyone else. I feel like everyone just needs to be nicer.
Spread love, not hate.
Spread love.
Yeah,
love.
I get a lot of comments on Instagram because I will cook my husband dinner up until basically we leave for America.
Yeah.
So up until peak week. And people are like, how do you do that and not eat his food? Or how do you do that and eat separate meals? I'm like, first of all, he would not eat a single one of my meals, which is loaded with vegetables. I sent him my lunch today. I'm like, would you eat this? And he straight up said no. So I'm like, it's either I let the man starve when he gets home at 10 p.m. at night, or I cook him a meal that he can eat and know that I'm going to have my food separately.
Yeah.
I'm like you mentioned, it was my choice.
Yeah.
Prep is your choice. It was not your partner's choice.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think there's this level of disconnect that And I don't know how you would show that online as an athlete to raise that awareness that there is this like whole other side of it. And I feel like people talk about it all the time, and we probably just sound like another one of the many saying like there's this whole other side of prep and it's not just a bikini and all this stuff. It's like, how do you actually show that to someone who's not in it?
Well, I mean, I posted stories of like my partner. I was like, "Can I smell your migraine?" And he like put it on my lip, and I was like,
Don't.
I just had to laugh at it because like that's like the whole point. Like, it's going to be hard. You're gonna want to smell your partner's food and eat migraine instead of chicken and like rice or whatever you're eating, right? So, like, yeah, I try to go through life thinking lots of things aren't that deep. Of course, it's an extreme sport, and there's a lot of skills. I like how you said skills and not just discipline, because it's not just about discipline, but actually having the skills and knowledge of like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I'm going to execute it. You're like, yeah, discipline comes into place when motivation is low, but it really is like relying on your default setting. What are my skills and habits that I've put in place to get me through when I like don't want to?
Because I have a lot of people say to me, oh my God, you're so disciplined for doing this. Like yesterday I was at the gym at 8 o'clock at night. I was awake at 5 in the morning. Like that's not discipline at this point. This is autopilot. Like that is just me knowing that I have to do that and I have to do it.
Yeah.
Discipline was out the window.
Yeah.
Like I mentally wasn't there.
Yeah. I like to tell my athletes, like, it's about assuming a new identity as well. Like you get to evolve. Like, because, I mean, try having a baby that wakes up every 2 hours and you're feeding them all through the night, and you know, again, like having poo explosions in the middle of the night and then still getting up the next day and trying to be productive and train and get your steps. Like, that's not discipline or motivation. That is just like who I am as a person at this point. I do those things because that is who I am.
Yep. Yeah. You identify as that person now, so it's what you have to do. Yeah. It's not a matter of am I disciplined, am I unmotivated, am I this, am I that. It's no. My son needs me to clean his poo. I'm going to clean his poo, and then I'm going to go for a walk. Like, I really like that adopt a new identity, because I'm like, it's so true. Yeah. When you're in prep, you adopt the identity of someone who does all these things, whether you want to or not, you do it. Yeah. And when you're a mum, you adopt the identity of all of these other characteristics. And I think it's so important that, like you mentioned earlier, pivot. Stop being so hard on yourself.
Figure it out.
And just do it. Like, fake it till you make it and do it.
Just figure it out. It's going to be hard. But, like, especially as a mum, there's, like, a new gear that I've unlocked. I was like, how am I functioning right now? I know I should be tired, but I actually feel okay. Yeah. And, again, that's, like, it's, yes, a physical thing, like, literally not having enough sleep or broken sleep and, you know, a baby that you need to completely attend to 24/7, 365. But it's literally, it's also mindset. Like, are you going to just sit down all day and like binge watch Netflix when he's sleeping, or are you actually going to get up during that time that they're down for a nap and mop the floors, prep your meals, like drink some water? Like,
I'm nodding and smiling because I'm like, there's so many times that I personally want to say this to someone. I'm like, you have a child, a newborn child, under 4 months old. Your child sleeps majority of the day.
Yeah, you can say it now.
Like,
I can say it now because I've got it.
Do you know where I'm going? Like, do you know exactly? And I was like, how can I, as a woman who isn't a mum, say this without sounding like an absolute bitch? Yeah. Like, your child sleeps. You mentioned he's awake.
They're meant to sleep like 14 to 16 hours in like the first like 3 months of life. Like, there's time to do things. And even if like I said, even if it's not you training,
you're still a coach.
Strap them to you and like go for a walk, or strap them to you and eat. Like, I never understood it where people said, I have no time to shit or shower or brush my teeth. I'm sorry? Can you not carry while brushing your teeth?
Yeah, like hold your son.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, I feel like that is just a mindset that's a narrative you've chosen. You've chosen to say, like, I have no time to do these things. Sure, it's not going to be like your 20-step Korean skincare routine and 40 minutes to brush your teeth and wake up and meditate and shower and it's going to look different. It's going to be faster. And the funniest thing that I've learned to adopt or like has changed in my routine is to be like, you need to eat mindfully. You need to put your fork down. You need to not just guzzle it down. Now I'm like, in the hatch it goes. Like, we need to eat so that I can get my breast milk supply up and so I can tend to Ivar when he's crying. Like, there's no mindful eating anymore. It's like down the hatch. We're going.
we're eating as we're walking right now. No, but like, so I really rarely say this to people because I'm like, it can come across so
differently.
rude.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I know for a fact, I was very present with my niece when she was born because it was during COVID, and my sister and I lived within the radius and all of that bullshit stuff. But I'm like, my niece, when I would go to visit her, 9 times out of 10 was sleeping.
Yeah.
Like, there was still so much time in a day to have a shower, to brush your teeth, to go for a walk around the block if you're fortunate enough to have someone to be at home with your child, to put your child in a pram and go for a walk. Like, there's so many, even as yourself, you run a business.
Yeah. And I've been working since 2 weeks postpartum. I told my clients, like, hey, I might need like a couple of weeks off. We'll see how I go. But I love checking in with them and seeing them hit their goals and like just providing them more education and things to focus on. And they've always been super supportive. And they were like, are you sure you're okay? But
do you need longer?
No, I love what I do. And I think that's the difference is like, it is my mindset as well.
Yeah.
And like TMI, but I've gone to the toilet with Iva. I've gone and I'd had to pee with him strapped to me because he was asleep. So like,
well, yeah,
like you just have to got to figure it out. And as a mom, I think it's completely different the way that you perceive things, and you just have to get things done, even though you may not feel like it. But just know that you are pouring into your cup by doing all these little things. Like I always told myself I needed to be a chill mom and allow myself to accept the help. A lot of mums don't accept the help because, no one's going to look after your baby the way that you do because you're mum.
Yeah.
You are mum. No one else is mum. And so, like they might do things a little bit differently, or maybe he's not going to go down at the time that he should be according to this sleep training book. But like, let go. Like, it's going to be okay. They're still tiny. Like, you still need to pour into your cup so that you show up to be the best mum for them. Yeah.
It's crazy that everything that we've spoken about, be it prep, be it motherhood, be it your body changing from your peak condition to 38 weeks pregnant, like everything that we've spoken about has come back to your mindset and just like releasing and surrendering to all of these expectations that we place on ourselves or society has placed this idea of perfection within these ideas of who we need to be as an athlete, as a mum, as a woman going from A to B. Like, it's so interesting that if you kind of summarize this whole episode, it's like everything has just come back to mindset and everything has just come back to like chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like,
literally
relax, take a breath, take 3 breaths, like slow down and just like actually let yourself live and actually let yourself be and experience life to however it's going to play out for that day. You can't control what's going to happen, but you can control how you're going to react to something. Yeah,
literally control the controllables and everything else, like let go. Choose peace. Because like, why would you want to feel stressed? Like the moments that I'm like, this is all going to shit and not to plan. And as someone who used to be so like schedule orientated and task orientated and everything needs to be ticked off and whatnot, like it's been so freeing to actually be like, okay, whatever the day throws at me or whatever challenge the universe is going to throw at me this time. Actually, it was in my prep that I really embodied all of this because there were so many things that went wrong in my prep. And I was like, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to figure it out. And whatever challenge I'm facing right now is all going to be worth it because I'm going to become a pro. And it's all going to be worth it in the end. Like just because you had to pay an extra $60 for 1 kilo over your luggage, Kimmy, it's fine. Got into a car accident, it's fine. Like it's okay. Like as long as you still have your health and you choose peace and not choose to fall into that victim mindset, I think that is being rich. That is winning in life. Like it's not all of the other accolades and money and whatever that you could get. Like all of that's a bonus. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that was a really beautiful thing. If you had one piece of advice to give to a new mum who potentially is feeling some need or urgency to quote unquote bounce back, which you did speak out a little bit within this, what would be the advice be that you would give her?
Seek help. Like accept the help, whether it be from your maternal child health nurse, your doctors, your OB, sleep training consultants, friends, family, like seek help and accept it and actually be okay with your child not being with you 24/7. I think that's really, really important because like yes, they are your child and you are mum, but like you can find those little pockets of opportunity to pour back into yourself because I truly believe that you'll show up better as a mum because you've given yourself 5 minutes to go to the toilet and brush your teeth and eat some food. Like, if you don't know how to troubleshoot the problem that you're facing or the challenge that you're facing right now, whether it be with your child or yourself, go and get help. Like, it's not about you trying to figure things out and feel like so alone and so stressed and things like that. There's support. Accept it. And then you'll be better off because of it. And then you'll realize, you'll look back and you're like, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be in that moment. Like, it's going to be challenges. There's going to be tears. There's going to be times that you're like super overwhelmed and you are tired. You are, you're going to not be as alert and energetic, and your mood may not always be there. Your hormones are literally everywhere. But what is it within your control? Can you pick up the phone and call all of the 100 numbers that you have given to you after giving birth? This is who you can call for help. Like, even if it's beyond blue, you know what I mean? Like, anyone.
Yeah. I feel like that's a really good piece of advice. I feel like there's this whole idea, definitely that I have. It's like, well, I'm the mum now. I need to do everything. It's like, well, I actually don't know how to look after a child.
This is my first time.
Like, I have a sister who has a baby. I have a mum who's had 3 children. I have a mother-in-law who's had a son. Like, I have a whole army behind me who is probably waiting for that call.
Yeah.
Probably wanting to give help. A best friend who would probably love to come and spend an hour with my child one day to like, so I can go do something. Like, I feel like that's a really underrated piece of advice, and actually wasn't what I expected, but I really like that. And I really like that. It's just like, it's okay to surrender and understand that help is there and help can be utilized and benefit you.
Yeah. One thing I will add to that though is, like, all through pregnancy and postpartum and things like that, you do get a lot of advice and a lot of information and a lot of unsolicited advice as well. So it's really important to critically think.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't like to think, and it's like, we have all these other things that we need to deal and responsibilities that sometimes you just want to like switch off your brain, but having the ability to discern what information is relevant to you and your baby versus not is also really important. Because sometimes, like, your mom or your sister or your best friend, they all have the intention of wanting to help you, but they'll give you advice that is conflicting to what you feel you, like, in your gut intuition and what you've learnt and what you know works for you and your baby or for yourself. And being able to discern from that, it being relevant to you and not feeling like overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, I've done everything wrong. Like, it's, just like, think.
Use your brain.
Have you tried thinking about it? Like, just, it's like, it's going to be hard and it's all trial and error, but you really just need to exercise compassion and know that even though they're giving you advice from what they know, it's just from what they know. But like, you have to try it with your baby. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, it's fine. Just.
I've also heard the saying that babies are a lot more resilient than we think they are.
Yeah.
So I'm like you mentioned, if it's not the right thing, like, try the next thing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm not a mum. I can't really say it, but I'm like, I've seen a lot of, like, I have a large family. Like, I've seen a lot of babies being born and grow up to be very amazing, healthy kids. And I'm like, they'll be fine.
Yep.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Everyone will be fine.
Yep.
Well, I think that's a really, really nice way to end it. I really want to thank you for leaving Ivor at home. I thought he was coming, but he's not here. And spending an hour with me chatting about all the things. I think there'll be a lot here that so many women, so many new mums, so many women who want to be a mum one day, who are potentially athletes now, will take away from this. And I definitely have. And I just want to thank you so much. And
thank you, Joanna. Thank you so much for having me on. And I really do hope the same thing, because I feel like there is a lot of information, and this is going to be another podcast that people listen to, and it might conflict to what they think. But I really do hope that they just take that little nugget of like, just be kind to yourself, to others, and like,
and think.
Yeah. And it's not that deep. Thanks for having me on.
Anyway, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.